So hello guys, welcome. This video is about how to make entries in your garbage record book. So a garbage record book is divided into two parts, part 1 and part 2. While part 1 is applicable to all ships, part 2 is only applicable to dry bulk cargo ships. So in this video we are only going to talk about part 1, which is applicable to all ships. So in this video we are going to see these 4 entries: daily entries, garbage when landed to shore facility, garbage when burned in incinerator, and fourth, garbage when commuted. So let's start. So normally in the beginning of garbage record book, they would have given you categories, what all categories are there, and according to these categories you have to make entries. Below that they have also given examples how to make entries in your garbage record book. Now in the next page, this is the one which is most confusing, like what needs to be written when you are discharging expired medicine, expired pyrotechnics, e-waste, oily rags. So this is the one where people generally might get confused. So this is also written over here. If you want, you can pause the video and read it, or if you want, you can take the screenshot also. So starting with the entry, first you have to write on this page your ship's name, and thereafter below that it is distinctive letter, that is call sign over here, and then IMO number. So on each page over here again they have given categories of garbage, that is again written over here. Now this is the general format. This is how your garbage record book would look like on almost on all ships. And here you can see food waste. So this is the most categories which is used by chief officer. Basically, as we all know, as of now we cannot discharge or throw overboard anything except for food waste. And before throwing food waste also, you must confirm that you are complying with MARPOL regulation, that you are not in special area, you are not less than 12 nautical mile, your vessel is en route, and other such regulations. Now we'll start with entry of discharging of food waste. So first we'll write down the date, then we'll write down the time. So normally we write down, this is local time, 1900. So normally a chief officer would write down 1900 time. So the idea behind writing 1900 time is that once the dinner is completed, whatever food is remaining, the steward is throwing that food overboard, which he has collected throughout the day. So generally we only make one entry throughout a day, and that is around 1900. Now in the next column, when we are discharging at sea, we have to write down latitude and longitude. So here we'll write down latitude and longitude. Now next column is category. Now as we are discharging food waste, so we'll write category B. Now in next column we have to write garbage discharge into the sea. So make sure you remember this. In this book all the quantities are written in cubics with respect to cubics. So on my ship we generate normally 200 kg, so that is 0.02 cubics. So all the other columns will go blank. Now the person who is in charge as per garbage record book, and he is the one who is making entry, he will sign in this book. Generally it is chief officer, hence chief officer will sign for this garbage record book. Now same in this manner, every day we are making entries unless we are in some special areas. So all day we are making such entries, 12 November, 13 November at 1900. Now for another example, we'll consider that we have discharged our garbage to some shore facility. So whenever we discharge our garbage to any shore facility, we will receive a certificate something like this. Now make sure that your garbage certificate has listed all the categories which are there in your garbage record book, and you have discharged your garbage as per those categories. So now to make entry for garbage discharged at port, we'll write down the date, and then we'll write down the time at which we have discharged. So we have discharged this garbage at 1300. I'll write down the local time 1300. Now in position we have to write down the port at which we have discharged. So this garbage was discharged at Durban, so I'm writing down the name of the port, Durban. Now in category, we have to write all these garbage category wise individually. So first, like for example category A, how much quantity I have discharged to reception facility, that is 2 cubics. So here I will sign. So again, now for the next food waste I haven't discharged. Next is domestic waste. So again I'll write down my test date 12 November 2021 and time same 1300 LT. Port is Durban. And again category C. Here I will write down category C, that is domestic waste. And how much quantity I have discharged? I have discharged 3 cubics. So I'll write down 3 cubics. And again sign. So this is what we have to do. Individually we have to write down all the category of garbage we have discharged at any port. So you can see now this is how your entries will look like when you have discharged your garbage to some reception facility. Individually you have to write down all the category, individually you have to write down the quantity you have discharged and then sign them. So now we have seen daily entry. We have also seen how to make entries when you have discharged your garbage to some reception facility. Now we'll see how will you make entries when you have started your incinerator. for garbage disposal, or you have started your incinerator to burn the garbage. So we'll write down the date, we'll write down the time, 1500. Now just to make it more apparent, I'm using colorful pen, but of course you don't have to use colorful pen on ship. So normally on ship, second engineer is the one who's in charge of burning garbage in incinerator. That's why I'm writing his name, but you must check on your ship who's the in charge. So all the timing of starting incinerator, stopping incinerator, signature, all of these things will be done by second engineer when we are making entry with respect to incinerator. All of these things will be done by second engineer on my ship because he's the one who's in charge. So in second column, we'll write down the latitude and longitude when we started the incinerator. Then in third column, it is asking the category. So here we have burnt oily rags, so I'm writing category F. And also on side, I will write down oily rags. Now this I'm writing it down just for my reference, so that if anybody asks what did you burn, so that I can show it them, just for my remembrance, but it is not necessary that you have to write. Here on the second last column, I will write incinerator started. And then second engineer will sign over here. The half a part of this entry is finished. Now we'll write down the date again and the time when incinerator was stopped. So 2100 we stopped the incinerator. I'll write down 2100. I will write down the position when incinerator was stopped. Category same, F oily rags, and quantity incinerated. So that is 0.3 as given by my second engineer. So I will write down this. So this date, time, quantity, all of these are given by second engineer. So here I'll write incinerator stopped, and here second engineer will sign. So this is one complete entry for incinerator. Incinerator started its position, incinerator stopped its position, quantity. Here you can see only in one column I've written in quantity 0.3 cubics, not in both of the column above and down. Otherwise it will just look like we have discharged repetitively. So in only one column normally I would write down 0.3 cubics. So this is one complete entry. And of course, if you have left any cell blank, don't leave them blank, put a dash inside them. Now in your incinerator, if you would have burnt paper products, then you would have written category C, and on the side you would have written paper products. So it all depends what type category of garbage you are burning in your incinerator, you will write that particular category. Also, sometime in some incinerator you have provision to burn plastic, so then you can write category A. Now just for revision, if we have to see, this was example for our daily entry, and this over here category A, C, D, E, F where we have written. This was an example for shore discharge, and this over here was an example for incinerator burning when we burn something in our incinerator. So now let us see one more example where if our ship is doing coastal voyages which are not more than 12 nautical mile, and we have to throw garbage overboard. So what will we do in those conditions? We'll use our commuter. So this entry is about that, how do we make an entry if we are using commuter. Now just to remind you, please don't use colorful pens. I'm just using these colorful pens to make it more apparent. Please don't use them. So now if you're using commuter, write down the time and the position, category. So of course we are commuting food waste, so we'll write the B, category B, and quantity discharge, that is 0.02. Normally that is what we are generating, and below that mention commuted. So this is the only difference, and then you can sign over here. So we are mentioning this commuted only to make it more apparent to the any third party inspector. If they are inspecting, it will look more legit that yes, we have actually used commuted and we have mentioned it here. Now lastly, I will just show you some real entries which we have done in our garbage record book. So example over here, you can see these are our daily entries which chief officer has made when we were in open sea voyages. Every day he was making one entry. So these are all at 1900. And next here also you can see we have make one entry with respect to incinerator start stopped. Second engineer is the one who's signing this entry, and we have incinerated category F. You can see over here we have incinerated oily rags, so we have mentioned that also over here. And also in incinerator we have incinerated category C also before, so we have mentioned that also, and that was also signed by second engineer. Now again, if you are in some coastal voyages, then we are mentioning this B, category B, and below that we are mentioning we have used commuted, so we are writing it down commuted. And that's all for this video with respect to entries into garbage record book. I hope this video was worthy of your time. Bye.